A move to display Union flag plaques on publicly funded projects throughout the UK has been branded by the Scottish National Party as a silly gimmick. Treasury Secretary Fanny Alexander argues that the proposal aims to recognise taxpayers' financial contributions, and they will be visible on future infrastructures across Britain. Well, he referred to several up-and-coming investments which would display the funded by UK government sign, including the new high-speed rail network known as HS2, also planned superfast broadband connecting Cornwall to Wales, and new projects within the Northern Powerhouse. However, the SNP's Deputy Leader Stuart Hosey believes that this is just a government ploy to draw attention away from cuts to overall spending in Scotland's capital budget. Well, joining now to discuss this is John Robertson. He's Professor of Media Politics at the University of West Scotland. Well, we've heard what Stuart Hosey thinks about this. Do you think that these signs really will be unwelcome by those in Scotland?
Good evening. I think there will be much more laughter than anger in Scotland, and already there has been. There's been a great deal of social media activity. Mainstream media have reacted to it. All of the Scottish media, regardless of whether they would be unionist or pro-independence, have played it very low-key, and I think that's because they realise that, rather correctly, it's been described as silly.
Why? Why is it silly, and why is it causing so much mirth in Scotland?
Well, I think it'll cause a lot of mirth because it seems like another attempt, a panic attempt, to stem the tide of the popularity of the SNP. I think there's very little doubt from the opinion polls that despite the loss of the referendum, the independence movement is still very, very strong in Scotland, and the hostility towards Westminster is very, very strong. You can see that in the opinion polls. There is a severe risk to all of the unionist parties in Scotland that they will be wiped out almost entirely in the next election. That may not happen, but there's a strong risk of that. And I think this is just another attempt to try and... One of my friends, one of my colleagues said it's an attempt by the British government to troll the electorate. They're trying to provoke us and prompt us with various ideas, a kind of low-level propaganda.
Really? Is it not just going a bit too far, a bit pedantic, to say that these labels, which merely recognise the contribution of the taxpayer throughout the whole of the United Kingdom, including those in Scotland, should be turned into such a political, weapon as such? Well,
I don't think there will be a really strong reaction of that sort. I think there will be some vandalism. I think, youthful supporters of the Yes campaign, I'm sure, will remove some of these given the chance. But there won't be very many in Scotland anyway, for a rather simple technical reason. And the infrastructure, the building of bridges and roads and so on, is devolved. So these signs won't appear on bridges or roads in Scotland. They will appear on small-scale projects, new internet services and so on. The Union Jack is, you're not surprised to know, is a fairly sensitive issue amongst different groups in Scotland. One group in particular, the two big football teams, one group supports and uses the Union Jack as part of its flag waving. So the supporters of the other team are hostile to the Union Jack because of football, regardless of anything else, and they will tear them down, I feel fairly sure. People in the Highlands who remember the ethnic cleansing of their ancestors, they don't call it. I mean, you've described it as the. Did you describe it as the Union Jack or the Union flag?
I said Union flag. Yeah.
Right, correct. Well done. Correct. It's the Union Jack if it's on a ship. I gather.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So well done for that. But in the north of Scotland, and amongst people who are, kind of anti the British Empire, it's described as the butcher's apron, because it was the flag of the British Army, which was mainly Scottish. The British Army, which carried out ethnic cleansing in the Scottish Highlands in the 18th century. Some time ago, I realise, but it's still a sensitive issue in some parts. I don't think there will be much of a response at all. I think it will be what we call a damp squib in Scotland, a wet firework, that nothing much will come of it. I think it is correct to see it, however, as a shallow and rather pathetic ploy by the unionist side to bolster their campaign against their gradual loss of support amongst the Scottish people. Media coverage will remain fairly light. Social media will almost entirely humour. There's been a massive... I strongly recommend, if you have a minute, you look at Wings Over Scotland website, and you'll see some very humorous reinterpretations of the idea.
Professor John Robertson, thanks very much indeed for joining us on RT UK. Thank you.